anyone or no one. I'm away this weekend, but I wanted to do a different kind of video to the ones that I've done so far. I moved to London just over a year ago, but I was living in London before, and one of the reasons why I came to London was because of the theatre, for musicals, for plays, for just even concerts. And I've loved musicals and that throughout my whole life, and I've been going to loads, and I was at one recently for like the third time, and I thought, why not do a video of my review of the show itself. They are my own thoughts, they're no one else's, so I thought I'll give it a go. So the first musical that I'm going to review in hopefully a series of musicals is Bend It Like Beckham. It was originally a film which they've based the show on. There are some slight differences to the film, mainly because of time restrictions in having a musical. So I thought I would start by talking about the cast. When I first found out about Bend It Like Beckham, there was only two names that I recognised on the show. Sometimes I will only go to a show because it's someone in there that I know, or I like to follow their career. The first person in it was Jamie Campbell-Bower. Many people will know him from the Twilight movies, also from Harry Potter, he was in it briefly, and also from The Mortal Instruments, and also Camelot. So he was the first person that I saw that was in it, and I was really intrigued. He was playing the character of Joe, who in the film was played by Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. The second person who was involved with the show was Priya Kalidas, who was from EastEnders. Looking into it further, she was actually involved with the film. She was actually in the film as T2's sister. That character is not shown in the actual musical, but she's come in to play Binky, who is Jasminder's sister. The other interesting thing was that Gurinder Chadha, who actually produced and was involved with the original film, was actually involved with Bend It Like Beckham, so she was able to give her expertise and sort of help it, and I think that really shows in the musical. You can really see that they've tried to embrace the film and embrace the topic that was brought in Bend It Like Beckham. So for people who have not seen the film, I thought I would give a brief rundown of the story of Bend It Like Beckham. It's all about Jess, or Jasminder, as her mum only calls her that, but Jess is a very keen footballer. She loves David Beckham. She has him posted literally everywhere, all over his room, over her room I should say, and she wants to play football. That's all she wants to do. She's not a typical, what we call girly girl. She's not into fashion or anything like that. She just wants to play football with the lads down the park. So along the way, as Jess is playing football in the park, she's noticed by Jules, who is actually a footballer from the girls' team called the Harriers. And she goes and suggests to Jess that she should try out for the women's football team, and that she thinks Joe, who's their football coach, would love Jess to come and play. And so she comes along to training, she does really well, and she gets offered a place, and Joe says, will your family be fine with this? She lies, basically. She tells him that everything's going to be fine, and that they're really happy that she's in the team. In actual fact, she doesn't tell them anything. They don't know that she plays football. And so the musical, it is a musical, so there are songs involved. So they sing about, it's set in Southall, UB2, which is the first song. However, in the film, it was set in Hounslow. First difference. So along the way she gets found out, and so then starts kind of lying about going to the football practice, and they go out to Germany and play. This is where, spoilers if you've not seen the film or the musical, in the film they actually lose this match, but in the musical they win the match. It's a little bit strange, but I think again because of time constraints it actually helped them only have this one particular football match rather than a couple because of the time frame. And so they go on a night out for the first time. She gets drunk. Joe technically makes a pass at her. Again, in the film it's different. They don't kiss in the film. And Jules discovers them, and she's in love with Joe, but you don't really know that. But in the musical they actually do kiss, and in the process Jules and Jess fall out. Jules' mum discovers this and actually thinks that Jules is gay, that she's a lesbian, and Jess is her girlfriend, and they've had a big falling out and they've broken up after coming back from Germany. And so again, with the Indian culture, her sister Binky was engaged to someone called Titu, and his parents discovered Jess in the street hugging someone who they believed to be a boy, but it was actually Jules with her hood up, and so they felt that Jess had disgraced the family and therefore wouldn't allow Titu to marry her sister. And so Binky blames Jess and tells her parents that she's still been playing football, to which she gets banned from and goes to great lengths, starts taking down posters and just coming to the realisation that she's not going to play football anymore for the Harriers or for anyone, and that she should just do what her parents say and become a solicitor, basically. Joe actually tries to come round and persuade her family to let her play football, and because there's a scout coming, and he feels that she would get that opportunity to become a professional football player, which doesn't go down well with her parents, and he leaves. Eventually, for some reason, I can't remember why, there was an apology from Titu's family and saying that he can now marry Binky, and so they have a wedding, and Jess is really miserable because the wedding's on the same day as this final with the scout there, but her father eventually caves and she goes, and she scores after being tackled really badly and fouled, to which then she has to quickly dress back into her sari and get back to the wedding in time. So that's a really long-winded, I really am sorry for that, long-winded sort of synopsis of the show. What I think I really love about the show, and as I said, I've seen it 3 times. I've been in 3 different areas of the theatre as well, still in stalls, but right hand side, left hand side, in the middle. What I really love about the show is how they integrate Bollywood dancing to hip hop, to the music that they play as well. They actually use traditional Indian music. They've got a lady singing who's got this beautiful voice, but they've got traditional instruments. Another thing that's really cool about this musical, is the choreography. It's not just Bollywood dancing, hip-hop dancing. There's actually football skills involved in the dance routines. they actually have a local women's football team that will come. So as I was saying, the really good thing is that they actually get some football players from a women's local football team to actually come in and come up onto the stage and be part of the Harriers in the show. They actually come down the three sides of the stall area in the theatre. So you do feel like you're slightly more immersed into the show than you would if they were just on stage. Football skills to music, yeah, what more can I say? I was very sceptical in the beginning when I found out about Bend It Like Beckham. It was one of these shows that you don't know how it would fare. Especially being a film about football, how to bring that to the stage and then to add music to it. There are two songs that I really like, mainly because Jamie Campbell-Bower sings them. The first one is called First Touch, and basically Jess has missed a lot of practice and she's finally there now, but she can't bend the ball and she's trying to figure out why, and so Joe is helping her with it, and so that's why it's called First Touch. And it's talking about how she needs to relax more and not to be so focused on the ball, and it's kind of the first time that you realise that there might be something going on between Joe and Jess, or this feeling's there but they're not quite sure of it. The second song that I really like is called More Fool Me, and this is in between when Joe and Jess are out in Germany and they've been on the night out and she's got drunk. She's gone outside to get some air. He's put his coat on her, thought there was something more there and has leant in to kiss her, but she's stumbled backwards and says, no, I can't do this, mainly because she knows that if he does, he could get fired because it's part of his team. So he's singing about more fool me, he's picked the wrong time to show his feelings to her, which at the end of the song, it's actually good timing, but yeah. So they're two songs. Another song that's quite poppy, I should say, is UB2, which is one of the first songs that you hear in the show. It sort of is the opening number, and it's really interesting how they work it. There are a few other songs, and like I said, they actually use a traditional Indian song during the lead up to Binky's wedding. Another thing I like about the show is the comedy value. There is comedy within it. Some of the comments are so throwaway comments that sometimes you don't realise that was the attitudes back, and I think this was based in about 2001. We're now in 2015. A lot of changes have been made since then, but it was still very a taboo subject of women football players, and that's brought up quite frequently in the show. I thought what I would do is, if I ever carry on doing these videos, is actually doing what I call the triple L's, which is Little Lisa Likes. So looking back over my thoughts of the show, seeing as I've seen this one at least 3 times, looking at the cast, looking at the stage, the sets, the music, what would I rate it? And I'm going to start rating them out of 10. So, for Little Lisa Likes, for Bend It Like Beckham, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. As I say, these are all my own views. People could completely slate me. People could completely agree with me if they've seen the show before. I highly suggest you go and see the show. It is definitely worth a laugh. It's a good family night out. Maybe not for younger children, because there is some swearing in it, but overall it is a really good show, and I do hope that it stays in London a bit longer. I know it's still booking until next year sometime, I don't know if there's going to be any cast changes or not. So there we have it, a long waffly video on Bend It Like Beckham. It's in the Phoenix Theatre. I definitely recommend it to anyone to go and see it at least once. To experience it is a joy, and hopefully I may go and see it a couple of more times yet while it's still in London. So take care. I know I might sound like everyone else, but if you liked the video, give me a like. If you want to subscribe to me, then you can. It'd be nice, but I'm not expecting it. It's nothing fancy or anything. So take care for now, and hopefully there'll be another video on another musical, or maybe a past musical that I've seen so far. I do have a fair few that I've seen in the past that I would love to talk about, and it's a shame that they are no longer at the West End or even in Broadway in America for people to be able to see. So we'll think about that one, but take care for now. Bye.